Okay guys, so in this video I've got 10 different points on my wish list for EA going forward to improve this game. Now what I'm interested in, if you guys could leave your number one or just any point in general that you'd like to see it change made in the next FC title, I'd love to read through and just hear what your guys' opinion is. If you enjoy this sort of video, please do leave a like. I enjoy making this sort of thing, you know, talking about how I think the game can be improved. I'm somebody that wants the best for the game, you know, just for a multitude of reasons. One, just so I enjoy playing more. It makes my job easier. You guys enjoy the content more. It's a win-win for everybody if this game is the best it can be. And what I want to say about the 10 points I'm making, they're in no particular order at all. Some are much more important than others. These are just 10 things that I think could improve the game. So let me know if you agree with me, and let's get into the video. If you need the cheapest FC25 coins to build your super team, then check out MMOEXP by clicking the link down below and use code JambooUK for 8% off. Okay, so point number one, and I don't want to spend too much time on this one at all because it's just the most obvious one going. The reason it's first is because I wanted to get it out the way. It is obviously servers. The fact that this is still, you know, a discussion point in 2025 is genuinely insane to me. Now, I'm not saying that it always has to be perfect because every game will have like its blips and server outages and stuff, but the sheer amount of, like, it's consistently inconsistent. You know, you can jump on one day and it's absolutely fine. You know, I think of other games I play, like Rocket League springs to mind. It doesn't matter what time I jump on that game, you know, when it is, it just always feels the same. And I think that's very important for a game. You know, people are fed up of just being stuck in the mud and not being able to, you know, express themselves on the pitch in a way. Because at the end of the day, we're playing this game and we're trying to be creative and have fun. And if you feel like what you're inputting on the controller half the time is not doing what you want, it just makes for a terrible experience. So point number one, servers, very obvious. And yeah, it had to be said though. Point number two, it is scrapping the Frostbite engine. Now, this is obviously, some people may disagree, or I'd be surprised if you're someone who's been around playing FIFA / FC for many, many years like myself. I would be surprised if you disagree with this. Frostbite engine, in my opinion, is one of the worst things that ever happened to FIFA. It is what is creating these crazy clunky animations. It's allowing EA as well to add more animations. The engine itself, from what I hear, I'm no expert on it, is actually a brilliant engine, but it's made for first-person shooter games. And EA decided to throw it onto a football game. And as much as it's graphically beautiful, it is creating the chaos, you know, in terms of just this clunky animation fest feel. And something else that I've actually heard about it as well is that with the Frostbite engine, it actually takes the devs much longer to update and fix bugs than what it would on other engines, because it's just far more complicated. So I think just changing the engine alone is such a massive point, not only to make the game more fun and quick and responsive, which I believe it would be, but also it would allow the devs to actually update the game and just make it a more smooth experience. Because when you think about FC being a yearly cycle, and the fact that some bugs and glitches and broken meta stuff are able to last like 4 of the 12 months, that is unacceptable. Like, if something's breaking the game, they should be able to fix that within hours. Or, you know, at least, you know, maybe a few days. So that is point two, scrap the Frostbite engine. Point three, you know, you can argue this one's less important. Well, it is less important probably than the other two, but like I say, these are in no order. Some are more important than others. It's just a 10-point wish list. Number three is co-op foot champs. Now, I actually find it mind-blowing that this is not a thing yet. When I think of every other successful game at the minute, there is some sort of ranked play that you can play with your friends. The way gaming is now, like, people want to play with their friends. Foot champs, when you think about it, it's actually a very lonely experience. Now, there is a place for it, of course, like as a solo. There's definitely a place for FUT Champs. It should stay. But there needs to be an ability to play FUT Champs with your friends. Because I feel like that would bring a lot of hype as well. Being able to jump on, 2v2, just like you can in Rivals and stuff. But no one wants to play Rivals, Being able to lock in those rewards with your friends would create some really cool moments. Getting to that next rank, hitting that 15-0 with your best friend. It would just be sick, man. Like, you go through the struggles together, you win together, you open those rewards together. I think it would be great for the game, personally. Like I say, I don't know how this is not a thing yet, because I just feel like we're so far behind still in FC compared to other games. Like, you look at some of the stuff Fortnite are doing. They're throwing in-game concerts, and have been for a number of years now, creating some of the best shows that there is in gaming. And we're just stuck here not even being able to play properly with friends. So, yeah, that is point number 3, co-op FUT Champs. Number 4, a bit of a minor point, but I think it does matter, is I would be bringing back the original ranks for FUT Champs. Now, what I mean by that is the Elite, Gold and Silver. I feel like ever since we changed to this, like, rank 1, 2, 3, I don't know whose idea that was. When you actually think about it, what were they thinking with that? It's a small thing, like, don't get me wrong, but it just, like, the silver, bronze, gold, elite, it actually meant something. Like, it's a cool name for the rank, and you were able to, like, if somebody asked you, how good you are at FIFA, you could say you were a gold player or an elite player. This rank 1, 2, 3, like, it has zero substance or meaning behind it. Nobody cares about it. It's just completely irrelevant. And I think it just kills hype, for the mode, for the game. I feel like you need clear ranks that people can get behind and want to actually strive to improve. I think it's very healthy for a video game when people have goals and aims of where they want to be, and nobody is sat there saying that they really want to be a rank 3 player. There's just no hype behind it, and that is point 4. Point 5, I would bring in a mercy rule. Now, what that is, and there's actually a really good example, because I've been playing the beta of Rematched, which is a new football game that's releasing, and they implement it perfectly. Something like this is how I would do it. So essentially, if you go 4 goals clear, or at any point in a match against your opponent, the game will end and you win. Now, I'm not saying it has to be in every mode. Obviously, football's football. The game doesn't end at 4-0. Like, I completely get that. But in something like Champs, imagine how good this would be for the game. It would stop people being able to rubber band. It would stop you being 10-0 up and just being bored. Now, like, I know that some people want to stay in the game to improve and stuff, but at the end of the day, like, you're not learning much if you're 8-0 behind. I think it's healthy for all parties if there is a certain margin. I'm not even saying it has to be 4. Maybe it can be 5, maybe it can be 6. If you go a certain amount of goals clear that is clearly going to be unreachable in a 6-minute half of FIFA, the game should end and the person in the lead should get the win. At the very least, I think stopping that rubber banding, this would be fantastic for it. And I think that is actually something that really should be coming to the game. We have point number 6, which is less promos. They need to feel like they mean something. Like, sometimes less is more. And I think EA have got it really wrong this year with the promo situation. There's so many promos now that release, which myself and so many other people just do not care about, man. Like, you can just tell how forced it is. And it's really killed the game. Like, this year it's had a really detrimental effect because it's played its part in how the power curve and stuff's gone as well. And this game's been dead for months. In terms of like a progression point of view, it has really killed it. We're now at Team of the Season, which has always been like a really special period of every FIFA/FC title. It's that one stage of the game, where you're getting the crazy players in the rewards and you're taking your club to a really different level. Whereas now, it really just does feel like, even with Team of the Season, that it's just another promo, just another weekend, just another FUT Champs. And it's just sad to see. Like, a promo should be something to be hyped about. Every single promo. If there's not one worth releasing, it shouldn't be released. There doesn't need to be a promo every single Friday. And I understand from EA's point that if they go like a week without a promo now, people aren't happy, but the way that you compensate for that is you make the actual gameplay and modes within the game fun, so that people aren't sat there just relying on promos. Point number 7, I would say that we need less emphasis on custom tactics. Now, what I mean by that is I feel like the way tactics are now, they really sort of run how a game goes far more than it should. I think the primary impact for results and how a game goes should always be user input. There needs to be far less AI, which obviously the tactics are playing a part of. And I was thinking about this, and I think back to games like Rocket League and even chess. They're games that are very simple to understand and anybody can play, but obviously to master it and to get to the top is borderline impossible because the skill gap is so high. And I think that is a healthy way for a game to be, where it's easy to play and it's out the box, but with a very high ceiling. And I think that is something that EA should aim for, and there needs to be just far less emphasis. I personally prefer how the tactics used to be, just basic. You know, you pick your numbers or your depth and width and stuff, and you run with that. Whereas now we're all just stuck with these different like 4-2-1-3 variations, and I just think it's turned it into a complete AI fest mess, to be honest with you. Number 8, in-depth player stats. Now, what I mean by this is, like, football fans love stats. You know, whenever we're talking about players, our favourite ones, you know, from the real world, you're looking at their goals, assists, of course, which is something that we do have in FC. But I think that what would be a really nice addition is, instead of them being lazy and like when I'm clicking on my keeper, it's showing his goals and assists, you know, you should have stuff like clean sheets, save percentages, for your defenders, like a tackle percentage. Maybe for midfielders, you should be able to see their passing accuracy, big chances created. Stuff like this, I feel, would just get people more attached to their club and players within their club. And I think that's healthy for a football game. A lot of the reason, you know, that people love like Football Manager is because of the depth of it and getting an attachment like to their team and their club in the game. And I feel like that's something that Ultimate Team, it's what it should be all about, because it's your Ultimate Team. You should have a heavy attachment to your club, gradually working it up through the year, and you should be able to look at stats about your team and your wins and your club or whatever it may be and find joy from that. And I feel like that is severely lacking, and it's just sheer laziness because EA have the ability to add these things in and they don't. Point number 9 is to refresh draft, because genuinely I think this should be a game mode that answers a lot of the issues that we have during the week of FC. Now, you can argue that the issues shouldn't exist anyway, because if the actual gameplay was fun, like, people could just play to play the game. But we're in this point at the moment where obviously that is not the case, and people are just sat there waiting for champs at the weekend. Now, draft has just been stuck with the same garbage rewards and concept for, I don't even know how long it's been a thing now. Far too long for the state it's in. You can literally win a foot draft, and if you pay the 15k coins to enter, you can win it and lose money, which is just disgraceful. Like, draft should be that sort of mode where you're trying out new players, grinding up your coin balance, and if you're winning drafts, you should at the very least be getting like a draft token to enable you that sort of repeatability to be able to just keep going again. And that, in my opinion, is like a solution if they did it right, changed the rewards and made it a more fun experience. Draft has a lot of potential. They need to worry about, you know, upgrading that before adding stuff in like that moments mode that literally nobody cared about and got like discontinued after a year. Point number 10. So there's two ways this can go. The point is we either need to scrap play styles or at the very least alter them to what they should have been. Which in my opinion, and the way it seemed to have been sold to us, was that it was going to be a way of like players feeling unique on the pitch. What playstyles has actually turned into is just a way to dictate the meta and a way to sort of boost value of cards. So what you see now is EA made like that low driven playstyle meta, and now any new top card that comes out has it because you need it to for that card to be the best. You know, if you have like an R9 that doesn't have that low driven playstyle, just forget it because everyone's scoring the low drivens against you. That is not what playstyle should be. It should add a little unique feel to your cards. That just makes them feel a little bit different. Whereas the situation we're in is you can't even play a 5-yard pass unless you have tiki-taka. You can't play an over the top unless you have lobbed or pinged. You can't play a good through ball unless you have incisive. You can't finesse properly unless you have finesse. It's just horrible. Like, it's just... I don't like it at all. But that is the end of my 10 points. I'm very interested to hear whether you guys agree with me. Let me know your opinion in the comments. Remember to put in that one thing that you would add as well. And if you made it this far, I'd appreciate a like on the video. You can subscribe for more videos like this. I'll catch you guys on the next one, and peace.